Hello and good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us. This is turning out to be an amazing little game week. My phone has been beeping while I've been getting set up for the stream tonight, and I'm just actually a little bit ahead of time. 2 seconds, guys. So I've got goals coming from defenders. I've got assists coming. I've got it all, guys. So I was actually really hopeful coming into this game week that we were going to be able to pull something out, because quite simply, we do quite well in the later game weeks. The gallery's built in such a way that we've always got options available, which is lovely. But we're getting some points coming in tonight, and SoRare data and SoRare, obviously the stream for the points only updates every kind of 15-minute intervals. So as we dive into the stream, we're going to see some scores rolling in. Hopefully we're going to get, we look quite set we're going to get something, but we might be set to get something even better, or more stuff, and more stuff is always better than less stuff, of course, as you know. Now, the game week itself, guys, it went through quite quickly. Champions League was lovely. Europa League seems quite active tonight, but there wasn't too much SoRare stuff. A lot of my teams, as you remember from the last stream, were actually populated with J-League cards. As we run through the stream tonight, guys, we'll be obviously wrapping up the game week, which is leaving us 149. But looking ahead to 150, we're going to go around the one-shot league. We're going to go around the SoRare data leagues. We're going to do the whole thing. As we go through the fixtures, guys, I think I've mentioned it a few times. It's probably one of my favourite parts of the stream, is looking through the fixtures and trying to get a real sense of where the strength is in the game week. What team looks like they might be used the most, and how you can maybe manoeuvre around that. And we'll kind of talk about that as we come to. So today, guys, I've actually had so much more time on my hands earlier today, so I've got a great rundown for us on the fixtures. I've got a lot of nice little stats and little bits of info for you, depending on how you're picking your teams and that kind of thing. So we'll run through that. I'll go through my teams now. My teams will be edited as we go through the stream, because I've got a renewed faith in one or two of them, and the results that have happened midweek always have a knock-on effect to your weekend selections. I always like to get the weekend selections done in my phone, quite early, and then let the midweek, whatever's going to pan out. Some teams don't play midweek, but a fair amount of them do, and it's just seeing how that pans out. And subsequently, is anyone suspended? Is someone maybe likely to get rested, or is someone going to be brought out from the bench, to play at the weekend? All these different angles. So I'm gonna so we'll go through all that. That'll be good fun as well. So it should be a really good stream tonight, guys. As ever, if you've found me on Twitter or whatever, like, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. It really helps the channel grow. We've had some amazing growth over the last couple of weeks, guys. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for your support. It goes a long way. It's not unnoticed. Thank you very much. It means the world to me. It really does. So without further ado, we will dive right into the game week we're just leaving now. Okay, now I've started down here because I was looking at Mancini. He got a goal. I think somebody else got an assist. I've seen Gabriel got a goal, and I seen Mancini got a goal. And then I see some, notifications are happening. I thought, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to look at it until we get on and we get some points trickling through. Now, again, guys, in Global All-Star D4, we've played the common Ronaldo, and it looks like we're coming home with the full IFA reward, which is fantastic. Just goes to show you, oh, wow, yeah, our points have definitely jacked up a bit. So let's take a wee glance through it. Okay, we'll see how far behind real time we are. This team's locked and loaded. They're done and dusted. They're not bringing home anything, unfortunately. Kawabe starting on the bench is what really kind of let that down, as well as Slovic. The second game in a row we'll come to it later in the stream, but conceding 5 goals. It's just absolutely killing him for me. He's killing me on the pitch at the moment, which is brutal. My goal ball start D4. We've got Gabriel. He looks like he's going to be shooting close to 100 points this game week. He's really thrown us up towards the end. The Ferran Torres, only coming off the bench for about 20 minutes or so and not contributing much to the match, is probably what's going to let this team down. It looks like we're ticking over the 300 points mark, which is a lovely little score for a team that we just kind of threw together on loose ends. Yeah, it's great to see the Navas score 90 points, but like I said, it was one of those games he could have scored amazing, or it's Champions League, and the way that tie was balanced, you know, you just fear history repeating itself with Barca PSG. So we put it in if things happened, and you know, it's got the ETH, which is the bare minimum, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're picking up his card unless we get those extra points really tip us over the edge, which I don't imagine they will. But again, guys, to reiterate, you know, fair enough, the goalkeeper, Anthony looks like my centre back. I've got fantastic scores, right? But a common card, you know, that could easily be a normal run-of-the-mill rare, bringing you home 40 points. I've got a guy on the bench that has come off and brought in 25 points, you know. So it does show you guys, like, you know, you don't need to have everything going for you to get lucky in a game week. It is football, you know, it's just all about points, minutes, contributions to the match. And as long as you're doing your research, you're picking up the right type of cards that can be involved in matches, then I would always urge you to get as many of those teams out as you possibly can should the situation arise. Champion Asia D4, we did have a good bit of faith in, but Tani conceding 3, he got handicapped on the points majorly. Chanatip get injured in the warm-up and didn't even make the matchday squad. And we didn't know Ueda was going to be on ice again and DNP'd on us. So Machida got a goal. It was lovely to see. I hope he cements a first-team place now. That'll be good for the gallery. But that team was a real letdown. It really was. This team got a little bit of life in it towards the end with Mancini, but otherwise it was just a lot of, you know, Saul, McKennie, Sorloff all come off the bench and didn't contribute to their matches in any way. All Black did okay for not keeping a clean sheet. I suppose it's all you expect from a goalkeeper. 7 times out of 10, something like that. And then this is a division where we're pulling a tier 2 out of, so we went all J-League. Now, Ominami conceded an OG to lose 1-0, so his score got a massive reverse on the points right at the end. But he was actually flying up between the 60s and 70s, if memory serves me right. Pearl Obi again conceding 3. But even though he conceded 3, he still managed to keep above the 30 points level, which is good to see, because then if he doesn't concede 3, that score could quite easily become 50 points. And when you've got a goalkeeper that can get you around the 50 points without that, you know, even losing the clean sheet bonus, but not having the handicap of conceding the 3, it could have been a much better week. You know, this team is very close to doing some amazing numbers. 279 is the only score this team has actually come out with at the end, which I don't actually find that remarkable, especially for a tier 2 in under 23 division 4. That is going to be a brilliant prize, I hope. So really glad that we're picking up that for sure. I am quite confident that is us now bagged. We're on a little run again, guys. That is us now bagged a card 3 consecutive game weeks in a row. That is 4 out of the last 5. But we've hit 3 in a row. As long as we bring in, oh yes, we've just climbed into tier 3 territory on All-Star D4 thanks to Gab Mag. I don't know what's happened elsewhere, if there's been a goal come in at the last second or something like that, but it looks like we're doing a double. We've done 3 in a row and we're bringing it in with a double, so we're going to get a tier 3 from Global All-Star. Could be anything, could be crap, could be something decent. The thing with Global All-Star, because it's every card, the tiers, they do get some wild cards in amongst them, you know, just because of how vast they are. So you can get lucky even with a tier 3. So yeah, I'm going to dive into the comments in a second, guys. I can see he's bumping away there. Thanks very much. There's 11 of you here so far. 5 of you have liked. 6 of you, come on, help me out here. Smash that like button. But I'm really happy overall with the teams. We knew it was a thin game week. We knew, you know, I had a good feeling anyway I was going to do something decent. And if we can come out with 2 cards and maximum on ETH on D4, then that is a lovely midweek game week again. You know, so the form is continuing and improving. We're replicating that kind of late 2020 form, which is lovely. 3 in a row, and it looks to be a double. Magic. Now, we'll dive in. So I'll hit on this. I'll come back and check you guys out in the comments. Stuart's in the house. Stuart, good to see you, my man. Welcome as always. Mikey Boy and Non-Stick Llama. First 2 here as ever. Thanks very much. Oh, she got wrong message. Non-Stick's there. And yeah, who else have we got? I've seen somebody else, I'm sure. No, it's just you 3 so far. Guys, Stuart, you're my troublemaker. So this week, guys, all across the board, right? So like I spoke about in the J League preview with David Peters, and we mentioned it a little bit on the stream last time. The J League, the fixtures are coming thick and fast. Some teams already experienced that little taste of rotation, you know, that little taste of, oh, do you know what? These lineups can be tricky to nail. You can just, you know, we get unlucky, you know, I get unlucky with the Chanatip situation. And Ueda was probably just lack of research. I think if I'd really looked into it, I'd have probably seen it was a bit more contentious than what I probably thought it was. And I may not have done it. I know I don't have that many forwards in the Asia region, so I might have had to redeploy things and jig it around or whatever. But it's a very big game week in J League this week for a few reasons. There's a lot of, you know, so far a lot of the teams have played like 3 and 4 matches. Obviously Kawasaki, we'll get on to all the individuals in a second, right? Obviously Kawasaki absolutely ran away with it. We're not going to be starting with the J League because this is on the small version again. I had it on the big version, so I'll finish off my wee J League thing right now and I'll come back to it. But it's coming into a really interesting point because we've all bought players. I've not really, to be honest with you, I didn't really buy many Asian region players. I managed to accumulate a few. That's neither here nor there. But people will have base purchases already made on last year's form and early season so far form this time around. When you actually drill in and look at the fixtures, and I'm not going to drill into every fixture with you and go through it. I've made kind of notes. I've done that already. But there's a lot of form that is misleading. You know, some teams look like, oh, they're actually doing pretty okay, but when you zoom into it, you're like, oh, well, their points only came against this type of team, or oh, they're not actually doing too bad. They just got whacked off Kawasaki, you know, that kind of thing. So we're the next, you know, so we're at the 11th of March today. I would say between now and the end of the month, especially, you're going to see some Gamba Osaka. You're right there, Mikey, as well. They've been, you know, they're just falling way by the wayside in terms of matches played. We might see a Colorado situation with them if this persists because they've missed, I think, 2 matches already. And as Mike says, they've got another 3. Stefan is in the house. Stefan, my man, good to see you. So there'll be a lot of dynamic shifts in the J League over the next couple of weeks in terms of who you think is in form and who is looking to be the regular on the team, especially as other natural footballing phenomenon happens as well, like injuries and suspensions and whatever. But because they do rotate and it does give players an opportunity to maybe then make the place their own, you need to be aware the door's open. So we'll start ourselves off in Italy, right? I'm only really going to touch on the SoRare interested parties. Okay, so Lazio have actually got a really good fixture there at home at Crotone. Okay, so Crotone are vulnerable to a beating. This is my notes from it. If you look at Lazio's home form, Crotone's away form, it's just a match made in heaven. I've not looked at the bookies' prices, but I would not be surprised if they're like 1 to 10 or something daft like that. It looks nailed on for a Lazio win. They are trying to keep themselves as high up the table as possible, and this is a game that you just cannot come away with less than 3 points in. So the pressure is on. And a big win could actually do them some good, you know, morale-wise. They've not been scoring as freely as they have been historically. Roma who do Roma have? Roma are away to Parma. So Roma, their form in their head-to-head is massively in the favour of Roma. So you're looking at that. They've got a great result tonight. Was it a 3-2-0 win? Something like that to Shakhtar tonight. Where's my Roma boys? Let's see the score. 3-0. They beat Shakhtar tonight. They went through convincingly. They're in very, very, very good form. They're now Roma. Paul Lopez in goals is a machine. My boy Gianluca Mancini is running the show at the back. They're doing very well. But they have just played Thursday. The game they're playing is on the 14th. It's in 3 days from now. So fair enough, they've played this fixture at home. They don't have any travelling back and forth from Ukraine or a neutral venue or anything like that. But, you know, they are playing a lot of football and Parma are not. So Roma have got a good squad. You might see some rotation come out of them. It does look like they'll win the match on paper, but paper doesn't win football matches, guys. Inter Milan are away also, I believe. They're away to Torino. Inter Milan are all about the Scudetto at the moment. They've had, they're going weekend to weekend on their fixtures. They don't have any major injury worries, anything fresh, nothing that, popped up to me when I was having a look through it. Again, this is another match they have to win. Torino are really out of character, right down the bottom of the division. But this is a game, again, if Inter are going to win the title, even though Torino are at home, you would expect them to save themselves from relegation. I don't think they can realistically expect to get anything out of this match if Inter Milan turn up in any resembling anything like they have over the last couple of weeks. So you hope that it's a formality and Inter run it, but Torino are desperate for points, so they might fight for their life. You never know. Juve is really hard to call because this is the first thing I wrote there. Cagliari, right? If you've not really followed Italian football, even if you've kind of watched it from afar, you will be familiar with Cagliari for the simple reason that they always seem to have like the odd kind of maverick marquee player knocking about. Whether they sell them to like an AC Milan or they maybe get an Angolan or different Palacio. So there's a few guys knocking about. So they can be a bit of a maverick team to play against. Inter have just crashed out of Europe again. There's a lot of question marks across Ronaldo. I think there's some against Pirlo and a few of the other players. They are right out the picture for the title. This again, they have to win it mentally, but this is going to be a real big test of character for my man CR7 as well as Pirlo. So we'll see how that goes. I really don't want to call that match. It should be Juve. It probably won't be. Napoli, and again, Napoli's game, Napoli, AC Milan, very hard game to call. I fancy goals in it, so if you've got Insigne, I've got Zielinski, if you've got these types of players that are unlikely to be involved in stuff, I think Napoli could have a good game week, but it is going to be a tough match. I don't know if it's going to be the sort of thing you want to be relying on a clean sheet for. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So the next one we come to is Portugal. Okay, now Portugal is in a really funny situation for a few reasons. Benfica have just been knocked out of Europe. Sporting haven't really been in Europe this year. And Porto march on past Juventus. Okay, Benfica are looking good on paper to beat this team. Okay, but like I was saying with somebody a moment ago, Benfica have played a lot of football and Boavista haven't. This is a derby. This is a really big match. Benfica need the points. They need to keep the heat on Sporting Lisbon. And again, on paper, they should win it. They have played a lot of matches in recent weeks. So you don't know if that gives them good form and momentum to carry on with, or if you might start to see some routines, maybe slow down. But it's really hard to judge. But all signs point to Benfica. Look good on paper. I played a lot of games recently. Fatigue and rotation, question mark, is making a notes for that. For Sporting Lisbon, they're the number one away team in the league, and they are away to Tondela. Tondela have actually won 5 out of 5 of their last home matches, so you would expect Sporting, again, I really do think they'll run over Tondela, but again, with the form they've got got no reason to fear Sporting Lisbon, and if they keep their game plan up, it could be like a 4-2 kind of match or something like that. And then Porto play Pacos de Ferreira. Now, the Porto match, they're going to be high as a kite. They're at home. Again, all the stats, the head-to-head, historical Porto versus Pacos, all points to Porto home win, 1-2, 3-0, something like that, 2-1 maybe. But again, they will be living really high right now after knocking Juventus out. But coming straight off of that match into this, they're still chasing for the title, but I'm probably going to, one of the changes I might make to one of my teams is I might actually play my Grujic because I fancy a little bit of rotation from them. So Portugal, I would actually put, if you've got big Sporting Lisbon players, I think this is a big week for Sporting Lisbon. I really do. In the J League itself, so this is probably the least exciting game of them all, Shonen and Vegalta Sendai. So with this match, both teams have been conceding goals left, right, and centre. I'm just looking for my actual notes on these two. Yeah, so both in horrible form. They've both only scored 2 in the last 3 matches. It doesn't look like either of them can score or defend. So, when you're in that situation with these types of teams, one of them could just storm over the other one. Shonen were the worst team of the division last year. They didn't get relegated because of the promotion situation that they're in. But I've got both goalkeepers for both teams. I would love it to be a 0-0. That would probably make me quite happy, if I'm honest. Now, Vortis are playing Avispa. None of us, as far as I'm aware, have any cards for those two new teams, so I'm not going to discuss that. The Antlers are playing Hiroshima. Now, the Antlers Hiroshima is one of these games that when I was looking kind of through it, Antlers have only actually played 2 this season. They missed the Gamba match, obviously, because Gamba were called off. So it's kind of hard to really judge where Antlers are at in a few ways. They won this game week, which was lovely to see. But Hiroshima, out of 3 games, 2 draws and a win. Nice steady start. They benched Kawabe for the weekend. So again, they are already starting to rotate legs, it would appear, after 3 matches to keep everyone fit for longer is probably their strategy. The head-to-head favours the home team in this one. So it does, it would point to an Antlers if you're looking at pure historical statistics. And this was actually a Champions League, an ACL last 8 tie in 2009 that Antlers won. So it's 2 big clubs going against each other early on in the season. Could have fireworks, and if you're going to be watching these games live, which I know some of you do, that could be one of the ones to catch over the weekend. Then Kawasaki and Reysol. Now it can only be a Kawasaki copy and paste from the last 2 matches, 3 matches, whatever it is. Kashiwa do not seem to be the team without Alonga. They're just not scoring goals, they're not scoring points. Nami's still doing okay for me, but I think the fact that the defenders are scoring really well and the creative attacking midfielders scoring really low doesn't point to the team functioning as well as it once was. So I expect to see a lot of Kawasaki players that are at home. They don't have any major concerns personnel wise or anything like that. Gamba game is off. Vissel Kobe and Nagoya. So I think this is actually a really exciting match. If memory serves me right. Where is Vissel? And is it Kobe? I just put Kobe. Oh yeah. Both teams are undefeated. Head-to-head favours the home team, but Nagoya tight at the back. They've only conceded 1 goal in 3. So yeah, both these teams have started the season really, really hot. But Nagoya have just been mega solid at the back. Nobody's been scoring goals against them. Vissel, the games they've been winning have been like 3-2 scorelines, that kind of thing. So they're definitely a bit more of a front foot forward team going on the attack. So that could be another great match. It's at 9 a.m. I think my time. I think that's what that's translated to. So that, again, if you're going to get up and watch these things, that could be a really exciting game. It could be a 0-0, but because Nagoya could just stifle the match. Yokohama and Chezoro Osaka. I'm going all the way here, I think, with Osaka. They've played 4-1-2. They've scored 2 goals in every match they've played. Yokohama have only scored 2 goals in their 3 matches and they've conceded 5. So I think this is a great week again for Chezoro Osaka. The Marinos, both these teams, it's kind of meh. They've both won, lost and drawn 1 match each out of the first 3 matches. Nothing really clear and decisive out of it. Urawa are struggling to score. Marinos are struggling to defend. Head-to-head favours Marinos because they've won 3 and drawn 1 of the last 4. I've just put Oita, Trinita and Tokyo FC. It's just meh. I didn't even write anything else other than that. I'm sorry if you don't have any players. Oita are only playing their 2nd match. In Tokyo, just there's nothing exciting about them as I look at the fixtures in terms of their form so far. Shimizu and Sagan Tosu. Sagan are sitting 2nd in the league now. They've absolutely started off amazing. And they're away to Shimizu. Shimizu they're 1-for-1 in their first 3 matches. So again, it's kind of hard to judge really where they're at. But Sagan have scored 8 goals, conceded none, and they've got 9 points on the board. So if it wasn't for Kawasaki, they would be probably the most spoken about team so far. So again, Shimizu haven't really shown as much so far. It's really hard to judge. And I think that is your whack. Yeah. So J-League, guys, really, really competitive week. And again, there's going to be a lot of cards coming out with some really good scores. I did look at the River Plate Boca Juniors game. It's this, who can call this match? The form points, both of them are doing amazing. Boca Juniors just beat Vélez 7-1 in the cup. And if you look at Vélez, they're actually in really good form. So, if you've got any River Plate cards, you might as well play them because it's a derby, anything can happen. Now, this is probably one of the stories of the game week, guys. So Bruges are 2 games behind like everyone else in the league, and they're playing both their games in hand in the 1 game week. So on the 15th and the 12th, so they're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They're playing Monday and Friday, Ghent and Charleroi. Now, with the Charleroi match, there's no Moriaka. Okay, everything looks good for Bruges to win that match, to be honest with you, in terms of form and all the rest of it. But the game against Ghent, actually, because they're playing those 2 matches right next to each other, Ghent have not played a match since the last game week they were active. They might have had a cup match on Tuesday or something like that, but other than that, they've not played the matches Bruges have. So Ghent really need points. They've kind of not had much going this season. So I think this could be a really interesting game week because Bruges will rotate. So if you have a lot of Bruges cards, that you might as well play them. If you only have like one midfielder or whatever, but he might play, might not play against both these matches. There's a high chance you're looking at getting an appearance out of one of them and getting some points on the board this game week. So those Bruges rotation cards, definitely get them played because you might get lucky in terms of their individual contribution. But I can see them winning Friday and I can see them losing on Monday. Just the way everything's kind of going. But I think that could be one of the stories of the game week. You've maybe got somebody who plays against Ghent, might play really well. I could be wrong. The result could go the other way, or vice versa. So I think that'll be a really big one. The next thing we come to is Fenerbahce. Now, as you'll know, if you've been on this channel for a while, I'll come back. I can see you in the comments, guys. I'll jump over and join you in a second. But if you've been here for a while, you'll know, like, I used to do a lot of online betting, well before I did a YouTube channel or anything on Football Index. But Turkish League is normally a league that you will get drawn to because it will have semi-attractive odds and you'll think they're pretty nailed on. This team will definitely beat that team. And that's exactly how this Fenerbahce match looks. And it freaks me out because I think I would definitely not put money on that. It just looks too good. The away team are losing all their away matches. Fenerbahce at home, they're riding high top of the league, they're chasing it down, all the rest of it. It looks like it should be a Fenerbahce goal fest, but I don't know. I've just got bad history with the Turkish league and putting money on it. Not that you're putting money on it with this, but I suppose you are in a kind of sense in terms of your selection choices if you're picking one over another. The Eredivisie is so busy this game week again as well. I've went through all the fixtures and got a little kind of synopsis together for them. Before I get into that, I'm going to dive back to the comments and catch up with you guys. I think there's a few things flying in. We've got Irish Villain in the house. Irish, good to see you. And my man Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. So the Eredivisie, guys, now I'm going to have a lot of content kind of coming out in the next kind of weeks and months and whatever, right? But for me, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Eredivisie is a lovely nursery, as well as the Jupiler League in Belgium. Both these places are great little nurseries for you to be like buying little cheap rotation, cheap, young player speculative cards if you can find them at auction or in the secondary market. At a price that you find appealing and attractive, because a lot of these teams rotate, play a lot of different kids, transfer between each other, and they can be a real, because there's so many goals in these divisions. Even just the Tavon Gray alarm from last week, if any of you were here, forgot to turn that off, sorry. Then when they do come out in these game weeks, when it's maybe, and you'll see as we go through some of the teams, but they can really pay off for you in a big way. And because those leagues are so congested with teams, we've got the full rig out, we've got every team, we've got every player. There can be a lot of bargains. There can be a lot of bargains to be had when a particular player is maybe injured, is maybe suspended. Maybe the manager's about to get sacked. He's dropped this guy. He normally does play, and this guy, lots of things happen in football. So I definitely encourage, if you haven't switched into one of these leagues already, just switch your attention, for a couple of weeks and really try and get to find a wee gem or two. I promise you, you'll find something. There's a lot of talent across these leagues. Then yeah, the better, basically. So where will I start with my notes? So the first game I've got is Willem 2 and Heerenveen. Okay, so Willem 2, Heerenveen are bad on the road, really bad. Willem 2, but have tightened up in the last 3 matches. This could be an SO5 killer. So Heerenveen have got a few good players. I think Willem 2 have got a player or two as well that I've got in my favourites list. But Heerenveen, bad on the road, not scoring, not really breaking teams down. And Willem 2 getting some good form in the last 3 matches by staying tight at the back. This could be the game that, and again, the Eredivisie is a league that you would look at for goals. This could be if you went and just blindly picked all the league matches in this match and put like an overs bet on it or something like that. There's always been one or two that let you down. It could be this one. We then get Den Haag and Heracles, right? So Den Haag have been in absolutely rotten form. The manager is not won against Heracles in 9 matches. This is a match here, Den Haag and Heracles. So the Den Haag manager hasn't beat Heracles in 9 attempts. And Den Haag are looking rotten at the moment. Heracles, I've got a player there, and I've kind of scouted a few other ones at that club, and I really do feel that club is in a little bit of an ascendancy. They've got some good, exciting young players in there. They're still getting an outside chance of getting to the playoffs and maybe trying to get a European spot at the end of it. So I'm actually quite happy to play Matt Zowie this week. I don't think I've got any other ones yet. No, I've not. AZ in 20, I've just put goals. This is going to be a goal fest. I expect it to be an Alkmaar win. This could easily be a 5-3, a 4-2, something like that. No problem at all. Listen to this, right? AZ win 50% of the games where they concede the first goal, right? 20 have drawn the last 3 matches in a row, and 2 of those games they were ahead in, right? So even if 20 do score first, which, you know, if you're expecting a team to win, the last thing you want to see is them going 1-0 down. You know, it's almost the worst thing you can see. But even if that was to happen, I would actually probably be quite excited, because I think, brilliant, the stats are pointing in the right direction. So that's a little interesting thing to watch out for. AZ need the points after losing last week. They lost to 10-man Vitesse. They really need the points to stay in that top 3 position, or stay within a shout of it, at least anyway. The next game I've got is Groningen and Emmen. So that's the teams up here. Now, Groningen are having a really good season. Emmen are not. I've put, is it this one? No, it's not this one. But yeah, basically, we're Groningen, strong, confident team versus bottom of the division. Groningen have been really tight at the back, especially at home. So I don't see Emmen scoring. This should be like a convincing, solid Groningen win on paper. We've then got Sparta Rotterdam at home at Waalwijk. Okay, so Sparta, when Eredivisie joined the platform, they were like 7th or something like that. They looked in a good place, they had some players on good form, but the form since they've been on the platform has went backwards. You know, it really has. Waalwijk have kind of done the opposite. They've had really stinking form and they've turned it around in recent weeks. The Waalwijk manager is a guy called Fred Grimm, right? Now, I've not Googled him yet, right? But I know that name from a computer game. Don't know if it's Football Manager or like FIFA 98 or something, but that name, Fred Grimm, I seen he was the manager of Waalwijk, and I thought, as a Waalwijk player or two that's featured on videos on the channel already, and I seen that, I thought, yeah, I fancy Waalwijk to win this week, so I like Fred Grimm, I know his name. Sparta really need the points. They're not scoring enough goals. Solid form for Waalwijk, especially in defence. The head-to-head does favour Sparta, but it must be said, most of those head-to-heads were when both these teams were in the division below the one they're in the now. So I don't know how reflective that is of their current output of their squad, you know, because they've obviously upgraded since being promoted, both teams. The next game I come to is Venlo and Sittard. Okay, I've just put my notes for this is play any fit attackers you've got. VVV Venlo versus Fortuna Sittard. If you've got fit forwards for these teams, play them. Both teams have good forwards, and if you have them, I think this is a game week. Both of them could get in amongst it and really do some damage. Both teams can't really defend. Both teams need points. Both teams can score goals. This could be an exciting one. PSV and Feyenoord, all signs point to PSV, but it is really hard to split them. You know, PSV are in good form. Despite being knocked out of Europe, they've looked good. And then we've got Ajax and Zwolle. So the last, Ajax have scored 13 in the last 4. On the head-to-head, so each time they've played Zwolle, they've absolutely spanked them. All signs again point to an absolute Ajax rout. If you have Ajax players, this is a big Sporting Lisbon and Ajax and Challenger. You're going to see a lot of them riding high, 100%. And then the last match I've got here in my little notes is Vitesse and Utrecht. Goals expected. Utrecht last 5 is very good, and Vitesse are still chasing obviously top 3 after their good win last week, even though they've been down to 10 men. So again, I would be really happy to be playing forward players. Utrecht are in the top position in the table and in good form this year. When it comes to Liverpool, where do I have Liverpool? So I actually expect Mark Waters, good to see my man. Mikey Boy, did you get a Tavon Gray? You cheeky boy. Well done. Liverpool now, I know they beat Leipzig, right? Twice, right? I watched both matches and Liverpool just did not really. Yeah, they missed a few sitters in the second leg, right? I'll give you that, but I just didn't see it from them. They're threadbare. Wolves haven't played a match. How long has it been? Where the hell is Liverpool? Wolves have not played a match in 9 days by the time they played Liverpool. So they're going to be fresh. They really need to they're lower mid-table. They really need to get themselves back up the table, try and get back into the Europa League. So, you know, it's Monday night as well, 8 o'clock kickoff. It could be a Wolves win, by the way. I don't want to say it, but it could be. After Liverpool, we're going to Germany. Okay, so in Germany we've also got a few teams. Schalke. I'm not even looking at Schalke. Schalke. Right? Who the hell is even their manager at this point? Never mind who's playing football for them. And Leverkusen at home at Bielefeld. Now Leverkusen, it's a massive 3 points for them. A lot of absentees, a lot of injuries. You know, they've also signed 2 right backs in the window. They also brought in Damari Gray. Still no sign of Paulinho coming back. Bailey's been in good form. Amiri's back. They've got a really good midfield. Wirtz is still out with COVID. Demerbaid, these guys are still doing well. But Bielefeld really need the points, and you know, Bielefeld could just go for it, you know, and that will suit Leverkusen, but Leverkusen can also be caught if they're just going at it like that. Big 3 points, a lot of absentees. Bielefeld will try and play. Yeah, they'll definitely go and attack. Maybe not good game week for defenders. And then to put Schalke, exclamation mark, question mark. Now, Bayern, again, it looks like Bayern Munich should really run all over Werder Bremen, but Werder Bremen have been kind of repairing themselves over the last couple of matches. Every team now, when you look at it, you think they could be the banana skin. Bayern surely can't win every match this convincingly, but they do. You know, they just do somehow. They're just so good. They're so imperious. You know, they're going to win 4-0 probably, but Werder Bremen, could they be a banana peel? Yes, they could. I think the big question with Bayern cards this game week is who's going to play, because there is some rotation options, some injuries to consider, and you know the fixtures have got upcoming in Europe and domestically. We then move on to Atleti. So Atleti, stats all point to an Atleti win. Good form at the moment. Getafe are not really doing too much at the moment. Same with Real Madrid. Both teams have had a little bit of a late midweek. You know, of Atleti played, I think, on the Tuesday night or something like that. They played quite early, so they're going to go into the match with Getafe, and then they're walking into the Champions League. I want to say with Chelsea. I don't know if I've just made that up. Real Madrid have also got Champions League with Atalanta midweek coming up there at home to Elche. I think both teams will just be looking to get through this match in one nick, just pick up the 3 points and move on. So I think I might play my Isco this week. I think he could play. And I think I might even play my Sol as well. I think he might play also. Betis have got the derby. If you've got any of those Betis super rares, might as well go for it. It's a derby. Form kind of goes out the window. Both teams like to attack. Could be a goal fest. And then we have Valencia. They're actually playing on the Friday night, but they're listed at the bottom of this little list, which is weird. But Valencia derby, both teams need a win. You know, it's 11 versus 12. Levante are 11th. Both teams really need something to kickstart themselves. I've not watched through the K-League this week, guys. I'm terribly sorry. Lyon, love a Friday fixture. Reims just got out of trouble. They've just moved away from the bottom. They've had a nice little chunk of form where they've not conceded too many goals. They've got a couple of draws and a win, and they've moved into kind of like more mid-table now. That kind of situation, they might be looking at this. Lyon are in hot form, chasing down the title. Reims might just go and listen, just don't gub us, you know. So that could be like a 2-0 Lyon kind of situation. Easy win, making subs at 60 70 minutes, seeing the game out with ease. Marseille. What did I think of Marseille when I looked at that? Sampaoli is starting, you know, I looked at the lineup the other night. 3-5-2 with Payet up top. Cuisance got the winning goal, thank God. So I think I'm in love with Cuisance again. We might use him. St Etienne have got a really tough away game. They're in hot water if you've got any St Etienne cards. Angers are really in good form at the moment, especially at home. PSG should absolutely batter Nantes. I've got Lafont. They cannot keep a clean sheet for Toffee. They're going to be high as a kite as well. There probably will be some midfield rotation at PSG this game week as well as fullbacks. So if you have those rotation cards, again, it could be a good game week to get them out and involved. And then Lille v Monaco is probably the most exciting game on paper this game week in France. In the last 10 matches, the form table, this is first versus second. Lille are right in top. They've been knocked out of Europe. I'm sure they have. Yeah, I might have just made that up again. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. I'm sure they have. Yeah, they didn't play tonight. So Kovac at Monaco has really got them going. They're in good form also, as I say, in the last 10 matches. This is first versus second in favour of Lyon. Lyon have not lost, Lille have not lost in the last 10 matches. Monaco have only lost once. So really tough game, could be 0-0. You know, it's like, it looks so exciting on paper, and then it becomes a boring 0-0. So after France, we've got the Russians. Okay, now there's some really good looking lineups coming out of Russia this game week. Now we've got the Moscow Derby, which is a tough game. We've got a big 3 points for Spartak. They're still chasing down top of the table. If they want to keep on the heels of those teams, they need a win in this derby, 100%. Dynamo Moscow, but have been in really good form. There's a lot of SO5 cult heroes in that team, so I would expect a lot of these cards to be getting played, but I think it could be an either-or situation. It's either going to be Spartak cards scoring well, or it could be Dynamo. Zenit should be running all over this team. Yeah, just put Zenit win. CSKA are away to Arsenal Toulouse. CSKA, it's second. That's CSKA, and second bottom in Arsenal Toulouse. Arsenal okay at home. It's a must-win game for them. Last time these teams played, it was 5-1 to CSKA. and CSKA won away to Arsenal last year, so we would expect CSKA to win. We have a 6-pointer for Lokomotiv Moscow. They really need to win that match to keep themselves in amongst it. Sochi, I think, are like second or third at the moment, occupying a really high position in the table. And if Lokomotiv are one against those European spots, that is an absolute 6-pointer. So if you've got any big players in Lokomotiv, and you fancy them to win at home at Sochi, this is going to be a good game week for big match Lokomotiv guys for sure. And then Krasnodar, I put you on. The way to Tambov. Nothing's really going on there. And I think that's this, guys. Magic. So that's our little game week preview. I ran through all those fixtures. Really sorry to the K-League fans. I just didn't quite have time to get to that as well. But I hope you've enjoyed that little kind of run through. So I'm just going to dive back into my SO5 scores from this game week. See if we've secured that double on top of the 3 in a row. Just need to make sure it's there. There will be a little Opta adjustment overnight, no doubt. But I think we can call it. We've got the double. We have pulled it in, guys. We have made it happen. We've got the ETH. We're getting a tier 2 under 23, and we're getting a tier 3 from Global All-Star D4. Smashing game week. 3 in a row. The fleet will be dropping tomorrow. We're going to have multiple cards. It's going to be fantastic. And Johnny Boy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us, my man. I think, Mark, I didn't find that out. I expect him to be playing, but I think there was just a kind of wrap him in cotton wool situation. And because they're that deep on, obviously they've lost Dost, they sold Diatta, they're using Badgie now almost like the number 1 striker. They're having to make sure other guys get minutes as well in case Badgie isn't up to it, or he also gets injured, suspended, anything can happen. So I think it's like, right, okay, let's try and keep Badgie nice and cool and ready for the next match, as well as let's get this guy on the pitch in case we need him at some point. So I think there's a little bit of that going on, Mark, for sure. But absolutely buzzing, guys. Midweek. Trippier made his return. Didn't really get up too much. But yeah, no point worrying about that. So I then dive into my teams, guys. Now, I think I've done my teams pretty well so far. But like I said to you when we're going through there's a few rotation options I fancy to play now, like Grujic. I think Cuisance is probably going to get some love and get a start this match. So I think I'm going to be jiggling some things about. I'm going to check in on Champion Asia first of all, okay, and just see what we've got there. After now that I've had a look at the teams and seen the form, what am I actually going to be aiming at in terms of who's the better choices. So in goals, we went with Slovak again. We've went with Machida, Kawabe. Yeah, I think because he was on the bench last time, he'll probably start. Marcos Jr. scored in the last match. It was a penalty. It looked like he was playing number 10 on Flash scores. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then he gets subbed off again, similar to the Badgie conversation I just had with Mark. I think that will be a kind of wrap in the cotton wool situation. Rio Hatate has played every game so far at left back. He could maybe be rotated this match, but he's in really good form. It's one of those ones. It will happen at some point. No one plays every match of the season, especially in Japan. So it will happen at some point. So you're just kind of rolling the dice. It doesn't happen to all these guys in the one game week because it will happen in Japan. It's just a fact at this point. So I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm probably not going to change it. Now, the new UX, guys, for this, by the way, the interface is absolutely... I love it. I think it looks so amazing. It's so much easier to navigate. See, having all these guys just to the left here after I've run into this big. I think that's so clever, so lovely. I'm going to look at Challenger Europe because I do think now that we've got something with the Grujic potentially. So this is just a wee... Yeah, put Badgie in here with Asmatov and Azawi and Dumfries. So that's a decent little Challenger D3. I don't think I'm going to put Grujic in that. But if I do have the options available from my training selection, because I'm sometimes just one player short, especially in the midfield for Challenger, we're just getting a wee random, let's just try this team out. Actually out. So do I have any? Nah, I don't even have any Challenger goalkeepers that are not playing. That I've been training, so I can't even use that. I might keep in my mind for Global, because I think for Global I ended up stretching myself a wee bit thin, trying to make sure some of my regions were doing okay. But that Challenger Europe, I'm happy. I don't really want to toy about with that. What I'm going to do is have a look, first of all, at Champion Europe. Okay, so Champion Europe, what I've kind of tried to do is I managed to build up a good Champion Europe contingent before all the kind of booms and rises we've had over the last even 3 months, really. So I'm quite happy to segregate them and try and keep them for Champion Europe competition because the prizes they pull are pretty good. I've actually already put Cuisance into a punting team with my 2 Roma boys that are hot in form. Isco, who I reckon will play against El Sharing, I already said that, and then Joe David up front in that big match. And so this is actually, I don't think I did this off camera. Like after I didn't do this today. I've not even looked at this today. I don't think I would pick anyone else to play up front. Going into D3 with one super rare, guys, it might scare you, but trust me, you can get lucky. And I say lucky in the sense that your players need to play well, but just because it's a super rare doesn't mean it's always going to score the best. You know, if Isco scores 80, it's better than putting in a super rare that scores 40, you know. So if he plays, of course. The thing about Isco is I'm not confident he would get the 90. Joe David is the same. Cuisance, yeah, I think all three of those top players are not 90-minute players. I'll probably keep them together. Kamada didn't play. Looks like he's injured for a few weeks. Wirtz is still out. McKennie, I don't even want to touch UV this game week. I don't have a clue who they're going to line up with. Sol, we might bring him out. Nah, I think I'll keep it. I think I'd keep the Isco. Because if you look at what I did is I looked at Isco's kind of pattern. You know, in flash scores, the way I normally do it on the streams, I'll jump through and click through. So Isco's had a wee pattern of playing a lot of minutes, a little bit less minutes, miss a match, and then kind of mirror image that cycle again. And I think that's just about to come. I might be reading into something that's not there, but we're giving it a go. We'll see what happens. My D4 have went really strong, so we're putting Navas in goals. He's hot in form. The only risk is PSG are eligible or are likely to rotate goalkeepers, but he did dedicate the save to Sergio Rico. He's went through some stuff in his personal life, so I don't think he's around at the moment. So I don't think Navas gets rotated out. Robertson, even if Liverpool don't, even if that game goes away, I think it does. Robertson still can come in with a 50 for me, so that works. SoRare in a derby, that works. Zielinski in a massive match, that works for me. And Sané again. For me, Sané, you know, is one of the best players at Bayern. You know, I loved him at Man City. I was so happy when I won that card. I really was. And he's had great form and long may it continue. But I think if they're getting big results and he's playing, Sané's going to be a really big part of that. And I think that is a 5, is a really strong champion Europe D4 contingent. This only has to get me a tier 2 for me to be happy, really. And this team cost me absolutely nothing, really, in the grand scheme of things. The Sané and the Navas I won. The Robbo I got cheap as chips, well compared to by today's standards. Same with the SoRare buttons, and same with the Zielinski, you know. So if I can pick up tier 2 rewards, I'm really, really happy with that. And I see then I've got that punty D3 with the Cuisance. I might, whereas I'll go for this, I might rotate the Cuisance into the under 23. So I can't remember how I rigged that one out. But I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to look at Global All-Star next. Was it in the first half? SoRare suspended Irish. I think you saved me before with something like this. I've checked all these matches. If he is suspended and flash scores haven't saved me, I will be annoyed at them. Irish, good catch, mate, if this is the case. Did he get booked in the last match? That does ring a bell because I've seen it come up for. Yeah, you know, what I do with all my players, guys, this is a little tip for you, especially if you've got a smaller gallery. I've not really updated mine over the last month or so, but if you go into SofaScore, that's the best app to follow the player on. Like, I just follow my whole gallery, and then anything that happens with any of my cards, they transfer, they get booked, they score, they get subbed, anything, I get a little notification about it, and it helps you get that kind of intimate feel for your gallery, for where it's at. So I'm pretty sure the reason I'm telling you that is I'm pretty sure I've seen a little notification for SoRare getting booked. That does ring a little bell. It can very easily be suspended. Let me check this. Oh, they've got a proper little preview on this now. Lovely. I hope he's not suspended because I do like the SoRare. I could play the Sol quite as easy. But again, Getafe, that game, you know, Sol's much more likely just to score. Yeah, he is. Oh, good catch. Good catch. I've never seen that down there. You know, I did notice, but there was a lot out. Irish villain, I owe you a pint when this is all over, Montreal. Probably 2, actually, at this point. So let's dive back. We'll catch that now. Thank you very much. Irish villain. Is there anyone in Champ Euro D3 we would actually want to put into a strong team? That's what that is. Maybe the Joe David. Kovac has made the Monaco good because he's tightened them up. That's always been Monaco's problem over the last 3 or 4 years, is they can just concede any amount of goals in any match. So he's really tightened them up. So going with the striker isn't. Mancini, it could get rotated. Roma do rotate players, so I don't know if even though if he does play, he's likely to score 60 plus quite easily. That's a tough one. don't think there's any. I think I'll just leave that team the way it is. But this D4, when you get the SoRare out, when you get him replaced, or even do we upgrade this whole team to D3 and put Cuisance in his place? Could that work? Oh, I think it could, but I don't really want to take that gamble. I like these cards being in D4 because I just think they're all really good and really capable of doing some damage. Oh, yeah, the rest of these midfielders. Kang, well, if all those people are out, Kang should be playing. Do we go with Kang? Do we just do it? Do we play Kang finally? Or Bruno Gomares, do we think he'll play? I think I did fancy to play, but Leon are so rotational with those midfield three. They've got Bruno, they've got Kakere, they've got Awar, they've got Thiago Mendes, they've got Paquet, they've got who's the other midfield? There's like 7 of them in total, so it's really hard. They've got Bruno, I didn't actually list him. They've got a lot, so I do feel tentative in picking that. The thing with Kang is I play him in midfield, but it could go up front. And so I think I'll go with Kang because Kang has been playing, and that is a big match. And I'm going to captain Sané. Because I think he's the big points getter. So we'll run with that. We'll go with Kang, guys. We've got OG Kang. Yep, it is 2 Irish villain all you, 2 pints and a shot of tequila. Because that's just how I roll. Good man, guys. Good catch. So that was Champion Euro D4. All-Star, I'm going to jump into that. I like to leave under 23s to the end because it is my favourite region or division. It really is. All-Star D4, we've tried to go. So, we've put Guimaraes in here. We're just going after points. Ominami is away to Kawasaki. I think he still could score well, but he did score an OG in the last game. And, all you need is this guy to make a mistake in a goal. Really kills the points. Lafont is probably going to get battered, but he's just the only option I would want to put in D4. This game week, I'm not trying to pull a card out of D4, just wanting that ETH. I played Ferran Torres in the last game week against Southampton. He only got about 15 minutes or so. I do expect him to get a start, imminently, so I went with him again. A wee bit of a gamble. Sorloth, I would expect to start at home at Frankfurt, and Guimaraes, we hope starts. And I'll just check if there's anyone, because this is global. I can pick from a wider pool. Is there anyone I would maybe drop the Guimaraes for? Who I'm not currently using or I've got in training. It's always better just have another little double check. Is there anyone you've overlooked? Is anyone you thought I don't actually need him and popped him into training? Sometimes these guys can just come in and fill in into the, especially Global All-Star. You can just play anyone, guys. It's the best division to get everything going. Obviously, you've got that ETH threshold. That's just, guys, all that ETH threshold really is a big amber sign, or a big green sign saying start in this division. This is the best one for you to start in. So please make sure you're taking advantage of the threshold situation, as well as the freedom it gives you to buy a card from Japan, buy a card from Germany, buy a card from Russia, and make the best cheap team you can to get started, or get the best players in the world if that's what you want, and just pick them from everywhere and anywhere. And make sure you get the best chance of winning every week. If that's your strategy, it's up to you. But I don't think we're going to be getting an art. See, the Weston McKennie could play. I don't think he's any more likely. He did start on the bench. He started on the bench the last couple of matches. I don't know why he didn't start against Porto. That makes me think he's carrying something, because I do think they see him as a key player. So I don't know why he would be on the bench for that game, but then start this one. That would be upside down in my thinking. It really would be, unless they just completely underrated Porto, which I do think they underrated. And we've got Grujic. I'm going to pick Grujic over Guimaraes because I think he's going to play. And if he plays, he could score 40 to 50, no problem. Lovely, I like that. I've been quite tempted to sell my Marco Grujic recently, but I actually really like him for beyond this season rather than this season. He's on loan from Liverpool, if you're not aware. He had an amazing season last year on loan at Hertha Berlin. And it looked like he was going to play in Liverpool. Klopp played him in a few games pre-season with the first team. And it just didn't work out. Now, Alex Grimaldo shot 100 in the last game week. We picked this reward up about a month ago. I've actually got him on the market to sell at the moment. But I think he looks really good to out of my cards to score so high. So I'm hoping he doesn't actually sell before this game week ticks away. Trippier and Oblak, I think they're going to be primed to score well in this match. Renato Sanchez is a big match. I expect him to start. And as long as he plays his little role, win, lose or draw, I think I can expect him before bonus to be picking up between 45 and 57 points, you know, quite comfortably. And then the man himself, Captain Depay, loves Division 3, and he's back with the captain's armband to shoot us another 80 points, hopefully. So I'm really excited about that league. Bernardo Sanchez has pulled a prize, or all those guys are prize winners, except for maybe the Grimaldo, because he's just a recent prize that we've won himself, ourselves. So we'll have a wee check in with the under 23s. And then we've still got our stuff to catch up on. I'll check how I did in the SoRare Data League. I've actually been really bad with keeping up to date with that as things have developed. But I'll go back and have a wee look and see how we've done. We'll start with the 23 D4. I think we'll go quite J League in this. Oh, I'll look at that for a team. Look at that for a team. I think someone said it in the comments earlier on, but the boy Sakamoto has been running the show early season. Look at his last 4 scores: 83, 88, 66, 65. And who are they playing again? Is it FC Yokohama? I'm sure it is FC Yokohama. I've got Cesaro win all over that. So I'm really excited for him. Ibrahim Sangaer at home to Feyenoord should do well. All signs point to PSV. We said it earlier. Jordan Larson played great in the last match. I'm hoping that front three, by the way, Sobolev, Henrik Larsson, Jordan Larson, and Quincy Promise. That front three, by the way, look amazing in the highlights. That scene. So if you have any of those cards, I would be excited. Big Chris Richards gets the armband because we expect him to be really good against Stuttgart. And Kosai Tani hopefully doesn't. I don't think they can concede 5 against Vigalta. If you remember what we were saying about them earlier. So I'm really excited about that D4. I think that's got a lot of potential to go far. Yeah, I do have Asia D3, Stefan. Did you maybe miss that? I'll go back and grab it in a second for you, pal. I'll go Asia D3 and I'll come back because under 23 D3 is my big one. But yeah, I've went with Slovak in goals. We're hoping they don't concede more than 3 again. Koki Machida got a goal in the last match, scored a 62. Kawabe was rested in the last match. We hope he remains. And Atate and Junior look like they will start and score quite well. So could do well. Quite hopeful for that this game week, if I'm honest. As long as Slovak is the linchpin, if he doesn't concede too many goals, that'll be a really good team. And then this is the cherry on top of the cake this game week. Guys, look at how disgusting that team is. Now, Paolo Lobby needs to get some good points on the board. I get that, right? Hakimi, dominant Inter Milan. They should be running over Torino. Tanaka, captain in midfield. We expect him to run the show. Nikola Vlasic, we just won him with the man next to him, Jordan Larson, in the last game week. I think, guys, this has got podium written all over it. Don't want to, but, you know, look at how good that team looks. The super rare striker, the super rare defender, and the 2 beastie star rare midfielders and amongst it with the prodigy of the goalkeeper. What a team that is, guys. When I made that team, I was like, I'm so excited for this game week. That's the only team I really want to. Honestly, I would have all of them score no points if this team could hit the potential that it can hit. You know, if I can get Larson, Vlasic, Tanaka, and Hakimi to hit 80s, we could be on for a Hall of Fame. You know, we could be on for a Hall of Fame run. You know, it could be that bad. It really could. All of them are in good form. All of them have got good fixtures. So excited for it. It's not even funny. So wish me luck on game week 150, guys. There is a special weekly. I do not quite have the cards to be entering it. The thing with the special weekly, guys, if there is no ETH reward for me, there is only top 10 that win it. So I think you've really got to have a good global lineup, but you don't have the ability to go into any D3s, you know. So basically, if I was you, or if I was in a situation, if I'm building my first kind of team and I'm getting into global D4, and then you've got leftovers, you've got selection choices all of a sudden. Oh, I can't play him and him. Oh, rather than trying to muddle and chase towards a region, if you're keeping quite open with the global aspect, the special weekly can be a great place to sneak into with good cards in good form. Get into top 10 places, get some great cards, and if you do jam out, you know, and you really hit the big time, you're going to be pulling away special cards as well on top of it. So if I was starting out brand new today, that is definitely an angle I would try and exploit in some way, shape, or form. The situation my gallery is in is I'm actually just not looking at this now because it's just not of my interest. There will be plenty other galleries in my position or above, depending on your terminology or whatever, that will think the exact same way. There will be some that are so big that they can still put really good cards in this, and that's just what it is. But if I was making that bloated global D4 squad again for the first time, this is where my leftovers would be going, and I would actually be actively trying to maybe fill a gap for something like this to get this. If you win a special Osman card, you're well buzzing on top of everything else you would win as a result of finishing in the places to get that card. So it would be worth a purchase. I would definitely agree. As long as it's at the right price, it's something you've scouted and researched out fully, of course. But yeah, guys, Game Week 150. You heard me going through the fixtures, guys. There's a lot of actual football drama around this game week. It's going to be absolutely fucking amazing. We're going for 4 in a row. See the under-23 team? I don't know how it can't. It has to win something, doesn't it? You know, like, fair enough, it might not get podium. I think it might. But it has to win something, doesn't it? So we're chasing down 4 in a row. We're going really, really strong with that. And then we've got Champions League next game week. It's going to be phenomenal. Now, a lot of discussion on Twitter and all the rest of it for like the one-shot league. None of us were really too clear on exactly what the reward structure was. What's the point of playing it, other than just engagement and opening the door for people to kind of trial and error and, you know, get access to commons and, you know, let people dip their toe in the water. People have won rares. They just get deposited straight in to your SoRare account. I was so happy when I seen this. Now, there's been a lot of conversations back and forth, right? My overall opinion view of this, quite simply, is the more opportunities you give people to win cards, the better. The less money they need to buy cards, overall, the better, you know, or to get started in the game at least, you know. Because these players that will be gifted through this will be in the existing prize pool allocation. So it doesn't really matter if they win it in the rookie league, it doesn't make any difference. If they win it here, it doesn't make any difference. You know, it's not as long. I don't even really care if it did come from, if it did change the percentage pool by much. I believe they'd have calculated it out in terms of pulling J League only prizes. They might even have they might have such a backlog of J League prizes. This is the best delivery system for it. So I really, honestly, some guys are upset. I really don't get it. I think it's a great thing overall. It's just a chance for more people to get cards and get involved and play. That's what it's all about, guys. It's a game, you know. It's, for me, first and foremost, it's all about the gameplay. So we're going to jump back into the one-shot league now. I didn't win anything. I don't think that my cards did particularly well. I think I finished like 200 or something like that. Easy for me to say. Oh, we can see it there. Yeah, no, 2,888 with 230 points. The DNP Suzuki was a bummer. Let's create our little squad. So we've got like 7 days. Oh, like well. I'll just have a weekend. I'll just populate it now and we'll come back to it. But I've no idea who these guys have got. We'd probably, he's not got a match. That must be, but that means we'll just stick in Remy. I'll just pick some guys just to get it done since we're over here. But at least I've gave my 2 cents on that kind of thing. That's all it is, just guys. Just my thoughts. Genk. Let's go with Mackenzie. Why not? I think part of the thing as well, some people were talking about is like there wasn't much of a benefit to using your own cards. This is the beta. There is clearly a distinction between your own cards and the game cards, like the game commons. So I wouldn't be surprised if that difference becomes more apparent once you've been through the first couple of games, maybe the first 2. Obviously, there's only 5, so I would have expected them to build the progression structure accordingly, knowing it's a beta over 5 game weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised if over game weeks, especially 3, 4, and 5, we start to notice, oh, well, this guy actually made the difference for me, the card I own. So that'll be interesting to watch out for. Marioka isn't playing this match, he's likely out, so maybe just put in Dorsch just because he's safe as houses. Doesn't get any safer than Nicholas Dorsch, it really doesn't. Just probably throw in Badgie. I'm going to check out what Mark Waters was saying earlier on about Badgie, kind of off camera. I'm not going to dive into that just yet. And then I'll just stick in David Bates, why not? Oh, cool. We've collected some XP, lovely, jubbly. Sweet. And then we've got our little team set out. Let's see if there's any kind of changes of developments. It is a beta, so see if there's anything cool we can look at. There's the leaderboard who finished top. I think it's Tiscat. Okay, cool. And these guys got to level 2 because of some of the cards I've been using and whatever as well. You see the points I just got. I'm halfway through level 1, so I just also didn't do well enough. or have enough cards I owned, or don't really know the full mechanics. I've not investigated it. I'm sure you guys probably will know. I'm looking forward to this little friends column getting added, and you can actually add people, and you can kind of wind each other up and whatever. That'll be good fun. I don't see any familiar faces up amongst the top. There's EBR, got just up around it, and Coltrane, they're up in amongst the top 25. That's good to see. I don't think I recognise any of these other ones. Norfolk, I think I should recognise. I'm not sure if I'm just thinking that because it's a place. Findex Sam is in the top 50. Findex Sam is always in amongst there. Mygo is one of these guys you can't get a hold of on fucking Discord or anything like that if you want to negotiate. Top 50 is a good list, and then there's me, Quinny, and 2,887. David Peters is in the house. David, good to see you, my man. It has been what I was trying to think about this earlier. I meant to actually dive back and check. I can't remember what game week it was I started in. It was so long ago now I couldn't even remember. But I was thinking, if I've been through 100 game weeks, I would be surprised if I have, by the way. Very, very easy to imagine. I'm so happy I'm getting a double this game week, guys. It makes me so happy. I love doing those fleets. If you don't know what it is, if you follow me on Twitter and you've got the most recent version of the Twitter app, my little icon gets a blue circle around it. You click that, it's a wee 30-second video, or a little series of 30-second videos, depending on how many of them I post. I don't really do it that often. I try and keep it for trophy day for prizes, just because I think that's a great feature and it kind of marries up with something I would want to use it for. So let's sign in and we'll check. I had Jammy or something. This guy's name is something to do with Jam in the SoRare Data League, which I'm not actually. I know I beat Dom. I lost the first, so I lost narrowly the first match. Then I beat Dom, and then to build for the third round. Oh, it's 14 hours. Okay, so we'll build this in now then. Lovely. Okay. Oh, of course, yes. So yeah, I'm just remembering time, guys, and stuff, So goalkeepers, I think Navas is going to be number 1 pick, and then probably Paul Lopez number 2, I think. Paul Lopez number 2. Yeah, let's go Paul Lopez number 2. No. Navas and Oblak, the two boys, the heroes, the safest hands in the game. We're not playing 4-4-2. Get that straight to Feck. We're going to go 3-4-3 again. That served us well against Dom. So yeah, I'm happy with both those goalkeepers. At the back, I'm trying to think about who was the better defenders I picked for my SO5 stuff. So we're right. Okay, so I think we're definitely playing Trippier. I think they're going to be playing him though too. I think Richards looks great as well. We've made him captain in a team. I think we back him. I think we go Hakimi. The only reason I don't like maybe playing Hakimi is because I've got 2 right backs on the pitch, but Hakimi can play right and left. He's just that good. So let's do that. It's an amazing back 3. Very attacking, very front foot, and it's going to help us. And on the bench, I think we maybe go Grimaldo. So I expect him to do well, as I mentioned before. Yeah, so we'll save that. That's my back 3. Grimaldo's on the bench. So if you don't play the SoRare Data Leagues, the bench players fill in for your DNPs. So if Trippier, Richards, or Hakimi, any one of them was to DNP, I get Grimaldo on instead. So it means you're more likely, if you get double DNP in a defense situation, then you're done, I think. But it gives you a wee bit of protection, which is lovely. Some people like it. I like it a lot. I like it for this 11-a-side format. I don't think I'd like it for the SO5 or anything similar. Now we've got Vlasic, guys. We've got so many midfield options. I love midfielders, guys. I don't know if you've noticed. I love good midfielders. I do not know if you've noticed. But it's just who to pick. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of variables. I think Vlasic is a defo. He has to go straight in. I think Sangair, he scores so well. And I've got Eo Tanaka. Those 3 go right in. And then I think the next spot is a really tough choice. I think I'll go Sakamoto. I think that fixture is just too good. And then is there anyone down here that I had quite a faith in? No, not really. Renato, I suppose. Renato could go on the bench, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, Renato can go on the bench. Ahead of Akhmatov. Yeah, and then captain, we're going to make it Captain AO. So I just expect them to run all over Kashiwa, I really do. And then up top, let's see. Jordan Larson's probably going to play. Depay's Definitely going to play. Sané probably will play. I don't think. See, the thing is, I've got a lot of super rare strikers, but I've not got that many out and out. I've not got that many. My depth up front is quite shallow. When you look at it, it looks like a lot, but when you see who's actually fit and available, nailed on starters, there's not as many as you might imagine. So I think we go the pie on the right, cutting him as we left foot, Larson through the centre, and then I think we go Leroy Sané on the left, cutting him with the right. Or is he? Oh, maybe we'll swap him around actually. Sané likes to. Yeah, we'll have Sané cutting in, and we'll have Depay delivering. That's what we'll do. So we'll have Sané doing his thing like he does for Bayern, cutting in from the right, Arjen Robben-esque, and we'll have Depay on the left delivering for these two to finish. That's a sexy front three. I like that a lot. And then on the bench, who's the next striker we would pick? Maybe Joe David, Marcos Jr., Ismail Azawi. Let's just pick Ismail Azawi. Screw it. I don't think any of these guys are going to DNP, so the sub's not going to do anything. But at least he's getting his name up in headlights. I'm giving him a chance. He's been doing well in training. He's been first to training, last off the pitch, all the stuff. So quite happy with this team, guys. I think we're going to have another good game week in the SoRare Data League. Hopefully we can get 2 wins in a row. The back three is disgusting. The goalkeeper's solid. The midfield is sick. The front three are destructive. The bench is minted. Really like that team. Whoever I'm against, we don't know who it is yet. We'll soon find out. But yeah, smashing, guys. Really looking forward to that as well. And I'm really looking forward to the one-shot league. It's not this game week. Bruges matches, like I mentioned in the tip-off at the beginning of the stream, are games that they're playing behind, they've got games in hand. So magic, guys. I cannot believe the time. I know we started a little bit later because of the Europa League, but still can't believe the time, guys. Wide awake. I cannot believe I still can't say it enough, guys. I'm so happy. So happy we're getting a run together, because I think with football players, with fantasy football, with games, form and momentum are really important things to gather for your gallery and for your SO5 experience. When you are doing well, you're hot. It's good to, it's good to enjoy the game. Love it. Really think about your options. Really get in deep with it. And that's the thing I enjoy so much about this, guys, is doing all this. Like the wee bit of prep I did tonight, and just generally doing this stuff when I'm scouting out players, and when I'm evaluating my gallery, and when I'm writing stuff on boards and notepads and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope you have a great game week, guys. I hope you're going to be pulling rewards with me on trophy day for tomorrow. Game week 150 from SoRare is going to be absolutely massive. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for joining me this evening. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.